The fluorescent lights of Chicago Memorial's emergency room buzz overhead, casting everything in a sickly yellow glow that makes even healthy people look half dead. I've been on my feet for 11 hours straight, and my lower back throbs with that deep, persistent ache that no amount of ibuprofen can touch. The smell of antiseptic and suffering hangs thick in the air, mixed with the metallic tang of blood and the sharp chemical scent of cleaning products. My scrubs are stained with coffee from this morning and blood from the accident victim we lost an hour ago. I haven't eaten since the stale bagel I choked down at 6 this morning, and my stomach makes angry noises that the attending physician pretends not to hear. "Maya, you've got a laceration in Bay 3, Dr. Patterson calls out, barely looking up from his chart. He's been here even longer than I have, and it shows in the permanent shadows under his eyes. I nod, already moving. Bay 3 is one of the smaller treatment areas, curtained off from the main chaos of the ER. As I push through the plastic divider, I'm already running through my mental checklist. Clean the wound, assess for depth and nerve damage, prepare for suturing. But when I step inside, my training kicks into a different gear entirely. The man sitting on the examination table shouldn't be here. Not because of his injuries, which are significant, a deep gash across his left forearm that's still bleeding through the makeshift bandage of what looks like an expensive dress shirt, but because of everything else about him. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. He's maybe 35, with dark hair that's slightly too long, falling across his forehead in a way that would be boyish if not for the sharp angles of his face. His jaw is shadowed with stubble, and his eyes, when they meet mine, are the color of whiskey held up to light, amber and gold, and somehow dangerous. He wears the remains of what was clearly a $2,000 suit, now ruined with blood and dirt. A watch that probably costs more than my annual salary glints on his uninjured wrist. And despite the pain he must be feeling, despite the blood soaking through his makeshift bandage, he sits perfectly still, perfectly controlled, like a predator deciding whether you're worth the effort to hunt. "Evening," he says, his voice low and rough around the edges. There's an accent there, faint but present, something European I can't quite place. "Sorry to bother you so late." I force my expression into professional neutrality, the mask I've perfected over 6 years of emergency nursing. "No bother. That's what I'm here for. Let's take a look at that arm." As I move closer, I catch his scent, expensive cologne mixed with copper blood, and something else. Gunpowder, maybe? Though I try not to think about that too hard. He extends his injured arm without hesitation, and I carefully unwrap the soaked shirt bandage. The wound is deep, clean-edged, not a ragged tear from broken glass or an accident. This is a knife wound, precise and deliberate. I've seen enough of them in this neighborhood to recognize the difference. "What happened?" I ask, keeping my voice neutral as I begin cleaning the wound with saline. He doesn't flinch, doesn't react at all to what must be considerable pain. "Disagreement," he says simply. "I lost the argument." "The other guy must look worse," I say before I can stop myself. It's unprofessional, but something about his absolute calm in the face of injury makes me want to crack that composure. His lips curve into something that might be a smile. He's not looking at much of anything anymore. The words hang in the air between us, heavy with implication. I should probably call security. Or the police. This man just admitted to what? Killing someone? But my hands keep working, keep cleaning, keep assessing. Because underneath the expensive clothes and dangerous eyes, underneath the implied violence and casual admission of murder, there's something else. He's alone. No one brought him in. No one's waiting in the lobby. He walked through those doors bleeding and sat in this bay for 20 minutes before anyone even noticed him. Because he didn't make a sound, didn't draw attention, didn't ask for help. "This needs stitches," I say finally. "Probably 15 to 20. I can do it here, but you should really let Dr. Patterson take a look. It's protocol for wounds this deep. No. The word is absolute, leaving no room for negotiation. You do it. Just you. I should argue, but something in his eyes stops me. Not threat exactly, more like trust? Which makes no sense. He doesn't know me from anyone. Okay, I hear myself say. But it's going to hurt. I'll use local anesthetic, but you'll still feel pressure and some pain. I can handle pain, Maya. My blood runs cold. I haven't introduced myself. My name tag is pinned to my scrub top, yes, but it's turned inward, pressed against my chest. He shouldn't know my name. He notices my reaction, and that almost smile returns. Your colleague called you by name when you came in. I pay attention. It's a reasonable explanation. But something in the way he says it makes me think he would have known my name anyway. Somehow. I work in silence, numbing the area around his wound, preparing my suture kit with hands that are steadier than I feel. The ER continues its controlled chaos beyond our curtain, sirens wailing in the distance, monitors beeping, someone crying in the bay next door. But inside this small bubble of space, there's only the two of us and the fluorescent light and the smell of blood and antiseptic. You have a daughter, he says as I begin the first stitch. It's not a question. This time my hand does shake, just slightly, but I catch myself before I damage anything. How do you know that? He nods, toward my phone, lying on the counter where I set it when I came in. The lock screen is visible, showing a photo of Emma, my 5-year-old, laughing as she plays in the sprinkler last summer. Her dark curls are plastered to her head, her smile missing 2 front teeth. She's beautiful, he says, and there's something in his voice that sounds almost wistful. She looks like you. Thank you, I manage, focusing intently on my stitching. The wound is clean, which is good. Whoever did this knew what they were doing. The blade was sharp, the cut precise. She's 5. Her name is Emma. Emma, he repeats, as if tasting the name. That's a good name. Strong. We fall back into silence as I work. He doesn't make a sound, doesn't flinch, doesn't move except to breathe. I've sutured countless wounds, and most people can't hold this still, can't maintain this level of control. It's like his pain threshold is simply higher than normal human limits. Halfway through, the curtain rustles, and Dr. Patterson sticks his head in. Maya, I need you for a moment. We've got a pediatric case in. He stops mid-sentence, his eyes going wide as he takes in the man on my table. The color drains from his face so quickly I worry he might pass out. Dr. Patterson? I ask, confused by his reaction. Patterson stammers, his gaze locked on my patient. I didn't realize. Mr. Volkov, I apologize for the interruption. Miss Chen is our best nurse. You're in excellent hands. Mr. Volkov. The name hits me like ice water. Everyone in Chicago knows that name, even if they pretend not to, especially in this neighborhood. Alexei Volkov, head of the Volkov family. The Volkov family, who owns half the South Side, who has connections to everything from construction to shipping to things no one talks about in polite company. The Volkov family, who is whispered about in the same breath as words like syndicate and organization and other euphemisms for organized crime. I'm suturing the Chicago Bratva boss's arm in an emergency room bay, while my daughter waits at home with a babysitter I can barely afford. Thank you, doctor, Volkov says, his tone dismissive but not quite rude. As you said, I'm in excellent hands. Patterson nods frantically and disappears so quickly the curtain doesn't even have time to settle. I can hear him redirecting the pediatric case to another nurse, his voice tight with poorly concealed fear. My hands are shaking now, and I can't hide it. Volkov notices, of course he notices, and his uninjured hand comes up to gently steady my wrist. His touch is warm, his grip firm, but not constraining. Breathe, Maya, he says quietly. I'm not going to hurt you. You're helping me. That makes you under my protection. not my threat. I don't need your protection, I whisper, though my voice lacks conviction. His thumb traces a small circle on the inside of my wrist, probably feeling my racing pulse. Everyone needs protection from something. What are you afraid of? Maya Chen? The question is too intimate, too knowing, and I pull my hand away to continue suturing. I'm not afraid of anything. Liar, he says, but there's no malice in it. You're terrified, but not of me, not really. You're afraid of something else, someone else. He's right, and that terrifies me more than his reputation. How can he see that? How can he know? I finish the final stitch and tie it off, snipping the thread with hands that are steadier than they have any right to be. There. 15 stitches. Keep it clean and dry for 24 hours. Come back in 10 to 14 days to have them removed, or see your regular doctor. I don't have a regular doctor, he says, watching me as I bandage the wound with practiced efficiency. Will you remove them? That's not really how this works. You should. Will you remove them, Maya? His eyes hold mine, and I see something in them that I can't quite name. Something beyond the danger, beyond the controlled violence that radiates from him like heat. Something almost lonely. Yes, I hear myself say. I'll remove them. He nods, satisfied, and slides off the examination table with fluid grace that shouldn't be possible for someone who just received 15 stitches without even taking an Advil. From his pocket, he pulls out a wallet that's probably Italian leather, probably costs more than my car, and extracts several bills. The hospital will bill you, I start to say, but then I see the bills. They're hundreds, 5 of them. For your time, he says, pressing them into my hand, and your discretion. I can't take this, but my fingers close around the money anyway, because $500 means I can pay the electricity bill that's 3 weeks overdue. It means Emma's prescription gets filled. It means maybe, just maybe, I can buy her the winter coat she needs instead of making last year's too small one work for another season. You can, he says gently. You will, because you need it, and because I want to give it to you. He reaches into his jacket, and I tense, but he only pulls out a business card. Plain white, heavy stock, with just a name and a phone number. No title, no company, just Alexei Volkov. If you ever need anything, he says, placing the card on the counter beside my phone, beside my daughter's smiling face. Anything at all. You call that number. Anytime, day or night. Someone will answer. They'll know who you are. I won't need. Keep it anyway, he interrupts. For Emma. The sound of my daughter's name in his mouth sends a shiver down my spine that isn't entirely fear. He's gone before I can formulate another protest, slipping through the curtain and disappearing into the chaos of the ER like a ghost. I stand there for a long moment, staring at the business card, at the $500 bills, at the bloody remains of his makeshift bandage. Dr. Patterson appears the moment I step out of the bay, his face pale and drawn. Maya, we need to talk. My office. Now. I follow him through the ER, aware of the stares from the other nurses, the whispered conversations that stop when I pass. Word has already spread. In a hospital, gossip moves faster than bacterial infections. Patterson closes his office door and rounds on me, his usual calm demeanor cracked down the middle. Do you have any idea who that was? Alexei Volkov, I say, keeping my voice steady. I know. Then you know what he is, what he's involved in. Patterson runs a hand through his thinning hair. Maya, I need to know. Did he threaten you? Did he say anything inappropriate? Because if he did... He didn't threaten me, I interrupt. He was polite. Respectful, actually. He just needed medical attention. Patterson stares at me like I've grown a second head. Polite? Maya, the man runs half the organized crime in Chicago. He's not polite, he's calculated. Everything he does is for a reason. Well, his reason tonight was getting his arms sutured, I say, more defensively than I intend, which is what we do here. We treat people, all people. Not people like him, Patterson says, but there's no conviction in it. We both know the truth. We treat everyone who comes through those doors: drug dealers, gang members, abusers, victims, saints and sinners alike. That's the job. He sighs, the fight going out of him. Just be careful, Maya. Men like Volkov, they don't just forget people. If he remembers you, that could be dangerous. I nod, not trusting myself to speak, because I don't think Volkov is going to forget me. I can still feel the ghost of his thumb tracing circles on my wrist, still see the way he looked at Emma's picture with something almost like longing. When I finally clock out at 3 in the morning, I'm so exhausted I can barely think. The L train is nearly empty, just me and a handful of other night shift workers heading home in silence. I clutch my purse tighter, feeling the weight of those $500 bills burning against my hip. My apartment building is in Bridgeport, a neighborhood that's gentrifying in patches but still rough in others. Our block is one of the rough ones. The streetlight outside has been broken for 2 months, and the landlord keeps promising to fix the lock on the front door but never does. Mrs. Kim, my babysitter, is asleep on the couch when I let myself in. She's 72 and technically retired, but she watches Emma 3 nights a week for $40 cash because she knows I'm drowning, and she lost her own daughter to breast cancer 5 years ago. Sometimes I think she needs Emma as much as Emma needs her. I wake her gently, pay her from the money Volkov gave me, and walk her down to her apartment 2 floors below. When I return, Emma is sprawled across my bed, her small body taking up an impossible amount of space. Her dark hair is tangled on the pillow, one arm flung above her head, her favorite stuffed rabbit clutched against her chest. She's so beautiful it hurts. So perfect and innocent, and entirely dependent on me to keep her safe, to keep her fed, to keep her away from her father. I carefully lift her, carrying her to her own bed in the tiny second bedroom that's barely bigger than a closet. She murmurs something unintelligible and burrows deeper under her blankets. I kiss her forehead, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo, and allow myself one moment of peace before the weight of everything comes crashing back. In the bathroom, I strip off my scrubs and study my reflection. 29 years old, and I look 40. Dark circles under my eyes that no amount of concealer can hide. Cheekbones sharp from too many skipped meals. A healing bruise on my upper arm from where Emma's father grabbed me 2 weeks ago when he showed up drunk, demanding to see his daughter, demanding money I don't have. Tyler, my ex, Emma's father, the reason I work nights, the reason I keep moving apartments every 6 months, the reason I jump at shadows and check over my shoulder and never, ever let Emma walk to school alone. He's not supposed to know where we live. The restraining order says he has to stay 500 feet away. But restraining orders are just paper, and Tyler has never cared much about rules. I shower until the hot water runs out, trying to wash away the scent of blood and antiseptic and Alexei Volkov's cologne. When I finally crawl into bed, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Get home safe? My heart stops. There's only one person it could be. I stare at the message for a long time, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. I should delete it, block the number, pretend tonight never happened. Instead, I type, "Yes, thank you." The response comes immediately. "Good, sleep well, Maya." I don't sleep well. I dream of amber eyes and dangerous smiles and hands that are gentle even when they're holding weapons. I dream of Emma laughing, safe and happy and free. I dream of a world where $500 isn't a fortune, where working 11-hour shifts doesn't leave me too exhausted to read bedtime stories, where the man I treated tonight is just a man and not a loaded gun pointed at everything I've tried to build. When I wake to Emma's alarm at 7, I have 3 new texts. One from Mrs. Kim asking if I'm working tonight, one from the hospital scheduling me for another double shift, and one from that unknown number. I meant what I said. If you need anything, day or night? A. I stare at that message while Emma chatters about her day at kindergarten, while I make her breakfast from the last box of cereal, while I help her into her too small coat and walk her to the bus stop. I stare at it while I stand in the cold morning air, watching the bus carry my daughter away, wondering how Alexei Volkov got my personal phone number when I never gave it to him. I stare at it while I walk back to our apartment, noticing for the first time the black SUV parked across the street, windows tinted, engine running. I stare at it while I realize with creeping certainty that my life changed last night in that emergency room bay, and there's no going back to the way things were. I'm on Alexei Volkov's radar now. And according to Dr. Patterson, according to everyone who knows anything about the Volkov family, that's either the best thing that could happen to me or the worst. I just don't know which one yet. The black SUV is still there when I come back from the corner store with milk and bread 3 hours later. Still running, still watching. I pretend not to notice as I juggle my grocery bag and fumble with the broken lock on the building's front door. Inside my apartment, I finally let myself look at Volkov's business card, really look at it. The card stock is thick, expensive. The printing is simple but elegant. Just a name and number, no pretense of legitimacy. He doesn't need to pretend to be something he's not. I should throw it away. I should block that number. I should request a transfer to a different hospital, maybe even a different city. Instead, I tuck it into my wallet behind Emma's school picture. For 3 days, nothing happens. I work my shifts at the hospital, each one bleeding into the next in a haze of exhaustion and fluorescent lighting. I take Emma to school, pick her up, make dinner from whatever I can stretch from our dwindling grocery budget. The black SUV appears occasionally but never approaches. Just watches. It's unnerving in a way I can't quite articulate. Not threatening, exactly. More like being wrapped in bubble wrap, constantly aware of a protective layer between you and the world. On day 4, Tyler texts me. The number is new. He changes phones constantly to get around my blocks, but I recognize his typing style, all aggressive capitals and misspellings. I know where you work, Maya. We need to talk about Emma. I'm her father. I have rights. My hands shake as I read it. He's texted before, shown up before. But something about this message feels different, more determined, more dangerous. I delete it and try to focus on restocking the crash cart, but my mind keeps spiraling. What if he shows up at the hospital? What if he follows me home? What if he's there when I pick up Emma from school? That night, I'm walking to the L train after my shift when I see him. Tyler, leaning against a car half a block from the hospital entrance, watching the doors, waiting for me. My breath catches. I freeze on the sidewalk, people streaming past me in the 3 a.m. darkness. He hasn't seen me yet, but he will. And the L station is in the opposite direction, which means I'd have to walk right past him. My phone is in my hand before I consciously decide to reach for it. I pull up that unknown number, the one that's been texting me good morning and good night for 3 days, the one I haven't responded to since that first night. My thumb hovers over the call button. This is insane. I don't even know if it's really Volkov's number, if he really meant what he said, if calling will help or make everything infinitely worse. Tyler pushes off from the car, his gaze sweeping the crowd. Any second now, he'll see me. I press call. It rings once. Maya. Volkov's voice is alert, no trace of sleep despite the hour. What's wrong? My voice cracks. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called, Where are you? He's already moving. I can hear it in his voice. The rustle of clothing, a door opening. Outside the hospital. My ex, I can't finish the sentence. Tyler's spotted me. His face splits into a grin that makes my stomach turn. I see you, Volkov says, and for a confused moment, I think he means Tyler. Then I realize he means he sees me on whatever cameras or tracking he's had on me. Don't move, 60 seconds. The line goes dead. Tyler is walking toward me now, his gait unsteady. Drunk or high, maybe both. Maya, he calls out, his voice carrying across the parking lot. Baby, don't run. We just need to talk. I back up until I hit the hospital's exterior wall. People are still leaving, still arriving, but they flow around us like water around stones. No one wants to get involved. Stay away from me, Tyler, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. The restraining order. Fuck the restraining order. He's close now, close enough that I can smell the whiskey on his breath. I want to see my daughter. That's my right. You can't keep her from me. You gave up that right when you put me in the hospital. The words come out stronger than I feel. When you broke my ribs and bruised her watching you do it. His face darkens. That was an accident. You know I didn't mean. You never mean it, I cut him off, until you do it again. His hand shoots out, grabbing my wrist. His grip is too tight, deliberately painful. You're coming with me. We're going to talk about this like adults. And then you're going to bring Emma to me, or I swear to God. Let her go. The voice comes from behind Tyler, low and cold and absolutely devoid of emotion. Tyler spins, and I see Alexei Volkov standing 3 feet away, flanked by 2 men built like industrial refrigerators. Volkov looks exactly as he did in the emergency room. Perfectly tailored suit, perfectly controlled expression. But there's something different in his eyes. Something that makes Tyler's hand fall away from my wrist immediately. Who the fuck are you? Tyler demands, but his voice wavers. Someone you don't want to know. Volkov's gaze flicks to me, softening fractionally. Maya, are you hurt? I shake my head, cradling my wrist where Tyler's fingers left red marks. I'm fine. You're not fine. He turns his attention back to Tyler, and his expression goes arctic. You put your hands on her. That was a mistake. Tyler tries to recover his bravado, puffing out his chest. This is between me and my girl, none of your business. She called me. That made it my business. Volkov takes a step forward and, despite being roughly the same height as Tyler, he somehow seems to tower over him. You have a restraining order against you. You violated it. You touched her. You threatened her. I didn't threaten. You said, I swear to God. That's a threat. Volkov's voice never rises, never changes inflection, which somehow makes it more terrifying. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave. You're going to delete her number. You're going to forget where she works, where she lives, what her daughter's name is. You're going to disappear from her life completely. Tyler laughs, but it sounds forced. Or what? Volkov smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. Or I'll make you disappear in a way that's significantly less metaphorical. The silence stretches. Tyler looks between Volkov and his 2 men, clearly doing the math on his chances. Whatever conclusion he reaches, it's the smart one. Crazy bitch isn't worth this trouble anyway, he mutters, already backing away. You can have her. I don't have her, Volkov says quietly. She's not something to be had. But she is someone under my protection. Remember that when you think about breaking this agreement. Tyler flees, practically running to his car. The engine roars to life, and he peels out of the parking lot fast enough to leave rubber on the asphalt. The moment he's gone, my legs give out. I slide down the wall until I'm sitting on the cold concrete, my whole body shaking with adrenaline crash. Volkov crouches in front of me, his movements fluid despite the stitches in his arm. Up close, I can see the concern in his eyes, the tension in his jaw. Let me see your wrist, he says gently. I extend my arm, and he examines Tyler's finger marks with the careful attention of someone who understands exactly how much damage hands can do. His touch is impossibly gentle, thumbs tracing the red marks that are already starting to purple. This isn't the first time, he says. It's not a question. No. The word comes out as barely a whisper. He's been escalating since I left him 18 months ago. The restraining order doesn't help. He just keeps coming back. Not anymore, Volkov says with absolute certainty. He won't bother you again. I promise you that. How can you promise that? I look up at him, searching his face. You can't watch me all the time. You can't. Maya. He cups my face with one hand, forcing me to meet his eyes. I've had people watching you since the night you sutured my arm. I knew about Tyler. I knew about the restraining order. I was waiting to see if you'd call me for help, and when you didn't, I was preparing to intervene anyway. The admission should terrify me, should send me running in the opposite direction. Instead, all I feel is a strange, unsettling relief. Why? I ask. Why do you care? Something shifts in his expression, vulnerability bleeding through the controlled mask. Because when you were stitching my arm, your phone rang. You ignored it the first 2 times, but on the third call, you answered. It was your daughter's school. She'd fallen on the playground, scraped her knee. Nothing serious, but she was crying for you. I remember that call. Remember how my heart had stopped until the teacher assured me Emma was fine. You asked if Emma needed stitches, Volkov continues. The teacher said no, just a bandage and a kiss. And you said, I'll kiss it better when I get home. Tell her Mama loves her more than all the stars. Then you hung up and went right back to stitching my arm with hands that weren't even shaking, even though I could see the fear in your eyes, the worry. You didn't ask to leave early, didn't let it distract you from doing your job perfectly. He's still cupping my face, his thumb tracing my cheekbone. I've known many people in my life, Maya. Most of them would have crumbled under the pressure you carry. But you don't crumble. You just keep going, keep surviving, keep taking care of your daughter and your patients and everyone except yourself. Tears sting my eyes. I don't have a choice. Everyone has a choice, he says softly. You chose to be strong. You chose to protect your daughter. You chose to leave a man who hurt you, even though it made your life harder. Those are brave choices, Maya. Rare ones. I don't feel brave. The tears spill over, and I can't stop them. I feel terrified all the time. I can't afford rent next month. Emma needs new shoes, and I've been putting it off because the electricity bill is overdue. I work doubles until I can barely stand, and it's still not enough. And Tyler keeps coming back, and I don't know how to make him stop, and I'm so tired. My voice breaks, and suddenly I'm sobbing against Alexei Volkov's expensive suit jacket while his men stand guard and the world keeps spinning around us. He doesn't shush me or tell me it'll be okay or offer empty platitudes. He just holds me, one hand in my hair, the other wrapped around my back, solid and warm and impossibly safe for someone so dangerous. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. When the sobs finally subside, I pull back, mortified. I'm sorry, I got your jacket wet. I have others. He produces a handkerchief from his pocket, an actual cloth handkerchief, like something from another era, and gently wipes my face. Maya, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Your apartment isn't safe. Tyler knows where you live. He's been there before, hasn't he? I nod miserably. Twice. The first time, the neighbors called the police. The second time, I wasn't home. He broke the lock on my door. I came home to find everything torn apart, looking for, I don't know what. Money, maybe. Or just trying to scare me. Volkov's expression goes hard. You didn't report it. What would be the point? They'd file a report, maybe send a patrol car by once or twice, and then Tyler would come back angrier. The system doesn't protect people like me. It just creates paperwork. Then we use a different system. He stands, pulling me up with him. You're coming home with me, you and Emma, just until we ensure Tyler won't be a problem anymore. I can't. I start to protest, but he cuts me off. You can, and you will. Not because I'm ordering you, but because you're smart enough to know you need help, and brave enough to accept it. 2 hours later, I'm standing in the foyer of a mansion in Lincoln Park, watching Emma explore with wide eyes and barely contained excitement. "Mama, there's a chandelier," she exclaims, pointing at the crystal fixture that probably costs more than our annual rent. "Like in Beauty and the Beast." "Inside voice, baby," I remind her, but I'm too overwhelmed to put much force behind it. Volkov's home isn't what I expected. Yes, it's enormous and obviously expensive, but it's not cold or ostentatious. The furniture is comfortable, lived in. There are books on the shelves that look actually read, not just for show. Photographs in frames. An older couple I assume are his parents. A young boy who might be a nephew. Landscapes that could be from Russia or Eastern Europe. "Mrs. Rivera will show you to your rooms," Volkov says, gesturing to a small, kindly-looking woman in her 60s. "There's a bedroom for each of you. Emma's has its own bathroom, and I had some age-appropriate items brought in." "Age-appropriate items?" I echo. He has the grace to look slightly embarrassed. I wasn't sure what a 5-year-old might need, so I asked the woman at the toy store to put together a selection. Emma's bedroom turns out to contain what looks like the entire contents of a toy store. A canopy bed with princess sheets, a bookshelf overflowing with picture books, a toy chest that could double as furniture, stuffed animals in every color and size. There's even a child-sized table set up with art supplies. "Mr. Volkov," I start, turning to find him watching Emma's reaction with something almost like longing in his eyes. "This is too much. We can't accept—" "She's smiling," he interrupts quietly. When's the last time she had reason to smile like that? Emma is indeed grinning ear to ear, clutching a stuffed unicorn that's nearly as big as she is. "Mama, can I keep him, please?" I look at Volkov, helpless. "We're only staying a few days, just until—" "Stay as long as you need," he says. "And the unicorn is hers regardless. Consider it a late birthday present." Her birthday was 6 months ago. Then an early present for next year. He smiles and it transforms his face completely, erasing the danger and leaving something almost boyish. "Please, Maya, let her enjoy this." So I do. I help Emma into her pajamas, new ones that actually fit, I note with a pang, and tuck her into bed with her unicorn and 3 other stuffed animals she's already bonded with. She's asleep within minutes, exhausted from the stress and excitement of the day. When I emerge from her room, Volkov is waiting in the hallway. "There's food in the kitchen if you're hungry. Mrs. Rivera left soup and bread." "I should probably sleep," I say, but my stomach betrays me with an audible growl. I haven't eaten since that stale bagel 18 hours ago. "Kitchen first," he decides, and I'm too tired to argue. The kitchen is all marble and stainless steel, professional-grade appliances that I wouldn't know how to use. But there's also a worn spot on the floor in front of the stove, a coffee mug in the sink with a chip in the rim, a child's drawing stuck to the refrigerator with a magnet. Signs of life, of normalcy, in this palace of wealth. Volkov ladles soup into bowls, chicken and vegetable, homemade, and sets fresh bread on the table. We eat in silence for a while, the kitchen warm and quiet around us. "The drawing on the fridge," I finally say. "Do you have children?" His expression clouds. "A nephew, Dmitri. He's 8, lives in New York with my brother and sister-in-law, but he visits sometimes." "You're close?" "I'm his godfather." There's weight in those words, significance I don't fully understand. In our world, that means something specific. It means I'm responsible for him if anything happens to his parents. It means I protect him, guide him, help shape the man he'll become. "And do you want children of your own?" The question slips out before I can stop it. "Sorry, that's too personal." "No." He meets my eyes across the table. "It's not. And yes, I do. Someday. If I can find someone willing to bring children into my world." "Your world," I repeat. "Dr. Patterson called you the head of the Volkov family. I've lived in Chicago long enough to know what that means." "Then you know I'm not a good man," Volkov says, his voice level. I've done things that would horrify you. Will do more things, probably. My business interests aren't always legal, and they're never entirely safe. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve honesty. He pushes his soup bowl aside and leans forward. You're in my home, under my protection. You have a right to know exactly what that means, what I am. I should be afraid. Should take Emma and run as far as we can. But something in his eyes stops me. That vulnerability again. That lonely ache of someone who's tired of pretending to be only the monster everyone expects. Tell me, I say quietly. Tell me who you really are. And he does. For the next hour, Alexei Volkov tells me things I probably shouldn't know, definitely can't unhear. About his father, who built the Volkov organization from nothing, and taught Alexei that power and loyalty were the only currencies that mattered. About his mother, who died when he was 12, and left him alone with a father who loved him but couldn't show it. About growing up in a world where violence was common currency and trust was earned in blood. I was 15 when I killed my first man, he says, his voice completely neutral, as if discussing the weather. He was my father's lieutenant, someone we trusted. He was stealing, skimming off the top, and when my father confronted him, he pulled a gun. I wait, barely breathing. My father was unarmed, I wasn't. I shot the lieutenant 3 times before he could pull the trigger. Volkov's eyes meet mine. I saved my father's life, but I also took one. I was 15 years old, and I became a killer. You had no choice, I whisper. There's always a choice, he counters. I could have let him shoot my father. I could have tried to disarm him. I chose to kill him because I knew that's what had to be done to survive in our world. He pauses. I've made that choice many times since, sometimes to protect my family, sometimes to protect my interests, sometimes because the alternative was worse. Are you trying to scare me away? A sad smile crosses his face. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just tired of pretending to be better than I am. You look at me like I might be human, Maya. Like I'm more than what I've done. I want you to know the truth before you decide if that's real. I stand, moving around the table until I'm standing in front of him. He watches me warily, uncertain for perhaps the first time since I met him. I extend my hand, palm up. After a moment, he places his hand in mine. I turn it over, examining the scar where I stitched him, the healing wound still pink and tender. I see your scars, I say quietly. I see the wound someone gave you, and I see how you didn't flinch when I put 15 stitches in your arm without proper anesthesia. I see someone who's survived things I can't imagine, done things I don't want to imagine. I look up at him, but I also see someone who bought my daughter more toys than she's had in her entire life combined, just to see her smile. Someone who had people watching my apartment to keep me safe, even before I knew I needed protection. Someone who looks at me like I matter. His free hand comes up to cup my face. You do matter, Maya. More than you should. Why? I ask again. The same question I asked in the parking lot. Why me? You could have anyone. Someone from your world, someone who understands. Because everyone from my world wants something, he interrupts. Power, money, connections, status. They see Alexei Volkov, head of the family, and they want a piece of what I've built. His thumb traces my lower lip. You just saw a man bleeding in an emergency room and helped him. You didn't ask who I was or what I could do for you. You just did your job with kind hands and competent care. Do you know how rare that is in my life? I'm not special, I whisper. You're wrong. He leans closer, his breath warm against my face. You're extraordinary, Maya Chen, and I'm selfish enough to want to keep you. The moment shatters when Volkov's phone rings, the sound jarring in the quiet kitchen. He pulls back, checking the screen, and his expression goes hard. I need to take this, he says, standing. Don't wait up. Mrs. Rivera will show you to your room when you're ready. He's gone before I can respond, speaking rapid Russian into the phone as he disappears down a hallway. I clean up the kitchen because I need something to do with my hands, something to distract me from the way my lips still tingle from his almost kiss, the way my heart races at the memory of his words. You're extraordinary. I'm selfish enough to want to keep you. Mrs. Rivera appears as I'm drying the last bowl. Come, dear, I'll show you your room. My bedroom is next to Emma's, connected by a shared bathroom. It's beautiful. A four-poster bed with soft linens, a sitting area with a fireplace, windows that overlook a garden I can't see in the darkness. But what catches my attention is the closet. It's full of clothes. My size. Everything from jeans and sweaters to dresses I'd never have occasion to wear, all with the tags still on. Professional clothes for work, casual clothes for every day, even pajamas and undergarments in the right sizes. Mr. Volkov had them brought in, Mrs. Rivera explains, noting my expression. He wanted you to be comfortable. How did he know my sizes? But even as I ask, I know the answer. The same way he knew my phone number, my address, Emma's school. He's had me investigated, analyzed, cataloged. It should creep me out. Instead, I feel oddly cared for. Someone is paying attention. Someone notices what I need. I shower in the marble bathroom with water pressure that feels like a massage, dress in pajamas that are softer than anything I've ever owned, and slip between sheets with a thread count I can't even fathom. For the first time in 18 months, I feel safe enough to sleep deeply. I'm dreaming of amber eyes and gentle hands when something wakes me. Not a sound, exactly. More like the absence of sound, the feeling of being watched. I open my eyes to find Volkov sitting in the chair beside my bed, illuminated by moonlight streaming through the window. He's changed into dark jeans and a black t-shirt, and there's blood on his hands. I should scream, should grab Emma and run. Instead, I sit up slowly, my heart pounding but not with fear. Not entirely. Are you hurt? I ask, my nurse's training overriding everything else. He looks down at his hands as if seeing the blood for the first time. No, not my blood. Whose? Tyler's. The name drops between us like a stone into still water. He won't be bothering you anymore. I should ask what that means, should demand details, should care about the moral implications of whatever Volkov did. But all I feel is relief so overwhelming it makes me dizzy. Is he? I can't finish the question. Alive, Volkov says, reading my hesitation. Barely, but alive. He's in a hospital in Indiana with 2 broken arms, 3 broken ribs, and a new understanding of what happens when you touch things that don't belong to you. I don't belong to you, I say automatically. His smile is dark, possessive. Don't you? Before I can answer, he stands and moves to the bathroom. I hear water running, the sound of him washing the blood from his hands. When he emerges, his hands are clean, but his eyes are still haunted. I should go, he says. Let you sleep. Stay. The word escapes before I can stop it. Just stay. Please. He hesitates in the doorway, backlit by the bathroom light. Maya, I don't want to be alone, I admit. And you look like you don't want to be either. After a long moment, he moves to the chair beside my bed and sits. I'll stay until you fall asleep. Tell me something, I say, settling back into the pillows. Something good. Something that isn't about blood or violence or survival. He thinks for a moment. My mother used to make blini every Sunday morning, thin pancakes with honey and berries. She'd wake me up with the smell of them cooking, and we'd eat together before my father woke up. Those mornings were just ours. You miss her. Every day. His voice is soft, distant. She would have liked you, would have loved Emma. She always wanted grandchildren. What happened to her? Cancer. It took her fast. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. He pauses. She made me promise at the end that I wouldn't let my father's life consume me, that I'd find something worth living for beyond the organization. Have you? I ask quietly. His eyes find mine in the moonlight. I'm starting to think I might have. We sit in comfortable silence until my eyelids grow heavy. The last thing I see before sleep takes me is Alexei Volkov, watching over me like a guardian angel with blood on his hands and salvation in his eyes. When I wake in the morning, he's gone, but there's a note on the bedside table in strong, angular handwriting. Emma is having breakfast with Mrs. Rivera. Take your time. You're safe here. A. I'm safe here. 3 words that shouldn't mean as much as they do. I find Emma in the kitchen, chattering happily to Mrs. Rivera while eating pancakes that look suspiciously like the blini Volkov described. She lights up when she sees me. Mama, Mrs. Rivera makes the best pancakes, and she said we can plant flowers in the garden today, and Mr. Alexei said there might be a surprise for me later. She's practically bouncing in her chair. Mr. Alexei? I raise an eyebrow at Mrs. Rivera, who smiles. He insisted she call him by his first name, said Mr. Volkov was too formal for a little one. I'm still processing this when Volkov himself appears in the doorway, freshly showered and dressed in a sharp charcoal suit. He looks every inch the powerful businessman, no trace of last night's darkness visible. Good morning, he says, his eyes holding mine for a beat too long. I hope you slept well. I did, thank you. I'm acutely aware of Emma watching us, her sharp 5-year-old mind already working to understand the dynamic between us. I have meetings most of the day, Volkov continues, but I've arranged for a car to take you both wherever you need to go. There are guards, but they'll be discreet. You won't even know they're there. I need to go to work, I say. My shift starts at 3. His expression hardens slightly. Is that wise? Tyler's friends might... I can't hide forever, I interrupt. I have responsibilities, patients who need me. And you have a daughter who needs you more, he counters, his voice low so Emma won't hear. What if Tyler's friends come looking for revenge? What if I spend my whole life being afraid? I meet his gaze steadily. I appreciate everything you've done, Alexei. I do. But I can't just stop living because there might be danger. For a moment, I think he's going to argue. Then something shifts in his expression. Respect, maybe, or understanding. Fine, he says. But you'll have protection. Non-negotiable. Fine, I echo. Emma, oblivious to the undercurrent of tension, pipes up. Mama, can I stay here with Mrs. Rivera while you work? She said we could bake cookies. I look at Mrs. Rivera, who nods. I'd be happy to watch her, dear. She'll be perfectly safe here. Safer than at Mrs. Kim's apartment, certainly. Safer than anywhere Tyler might think to look. Okay, I agree, and Emma cheers. Volkov walks me to the door when it's time for me to leave. His hand finds the small of my back, that possessive gesture that's becoming familiar. Text me when you get to the hospital, he says quietly. And if anything feels wrong, anything at all, you call me immediately. I will. Maya. He turns me to face him, his eyes intense. I mean it. I don't care if it's nothing. I don't care if you feel foolish. You call me. The protectiveness in his voice sends warmth flooding through me. I will, I repeat, meaning it this time. He cups my face, his thumb tracing my cheekbone in that way that's becoming habit. For a moment, I think he's going to kiss me. Instead, he just looks at me like I'm something precious, something worth protecting at any cost. Be safe, he murmurs. You too. The driver, a different one from last night, but equally professional, takes me to the hospital. I don't see the guards Volkov mentioned, but I feel their presence. The black SUV that follows at a discreet distance. The man reading a newspaper near the hospital entrance who watches everyone too carefully. My shift passes in its usual blur of controlled chaos. But today, there's a difference. Word has spread about what happened with Tyler in the parking lot, about Alexei Volkov's intervention. The other nurses look at me differently, some with awe, some with fear, some with pity. Dr. Patterson pulls me aside during my break. Maya, we need to talk about your situation. My situation? I keep my voice neutral. Your involvement with Alexei Volkov. He shifts uncomfortably. Look, I'm not judging, but people are talking. And if he's involved in what people say he's involved in, he helped me when I needed help, I interrupt. That's all. Is it? Patterson's eyes are kind but concerned, because from what I hear, you're living in his house, and men like Volkov don't offer help without expecting something in return. His words sting because they echo my own doubts, the questions I've been trying not to ask. What does Volkov want from me? Why is he doing all this? And what happens when he's done? Before I can formulate a response, my phone rings. Unknown number, but I answer anyway. Maya Chen? The voice is male, unfamiliar, with a thick accent. You should know your daughter is very beautiful. Such dark curls, such sweet smile. My blood turns to ice. Who is this? A friend of Tyler's. He's very upset about what happened to him. We're upset too. So we think maybe you learn a lesson about respect. If you touch my daughter... I can barely get the words out through my terror. She's at Big House in Lincoln Park, yes? With the Russian? That's okay. We know how to get into big houses. The line goes dead. I'm running before I consciously decide to move. Running through the ER, past Patterson's startled face, past the security desk, out into the parking lot. My hands shake so badly I can barely unlock my phone to call Volkov. He answers on the first ring. Maya? Someone called. Tyler's friends. They threatened Emma. They know where she is. They said they know how to get into... Emma is safe. He cuts in, his voice absolutely calm. She's in the panic room with Mrs. Rivera and 3 of my best men. I got the same threat 10 minutes ago. They're amateurs trying to scare you. It's working, I gasp, my vision swimming with panic. Alexei, if anything happens to her... Nothing will happen to her. I swear to you on my mother's grave, nothing will touch your daughter. His certainty cuts through my panic. Where are you? Hospital parking lot. I was running to my car. I need to get to her. Stay there. My driver is 2 minutes away. He'll bring you here, where you can see for yourself that Emma is safe and happy, and probably eating the cookies she made with Mrs. Rivera. True to his word, the black SUV pulls up within minutes. I'm inside before it fully stops, and we're speeding toward Lincoln Park with an urgency that would normally terrify me, but now just feels necessary. The house is on full lockdown when we arrive. Men I haven't seen before patrol the grounds, all of them armed, all of them alert. Inside, more guards, their expressions grim and professional. Volkov meets me in the foyer. Without a word, he pulls me into his arms, and I collapse against him, all my strength finally giving out. She's really okay? I ask against his chest. See for yourself. He guides me to a hidden door that opens onto a stairway leading down. At the bottom is a reinforced steel door with a keypad. He enters a code, and the door swings open to reveal a room that's somehow both bunker and luxury suite. Emma is sitting on a plush couch, watching cartoons and eating cookies, completely oblivious to the danger. Mrs. Rivera sits beside her, calm and collected, knitting something pink. Mama! Emma jumps up when she sees me. Look, I made cookies, and this room is like a secret fort. Mr. Alexei showed me the button that makes the door open, but he said I should only use it in emergencies because it's super special. I drop to my knees and pull her into my arms, breathing in her strawberry shampoo scent, feeling her solid warmth against me. She's safe. She's fine. She has no idea how close danger came. I love you more than all the stars, I whisper into her hair. More than all the stars and all the galaxies, she responds, our nightly ritual. Mama, why are you crying? Happy tears, baby. Just happy tears. Behind me, I hear Volkov speaking in low tones to one of his men. I catch fragments. Trace the call, warehouse on the south side, make an example. When Emma goes back to her cartoons, I pull Volkov aside. What are you going to do? What needs to be done, he says simply. Tyler's friends made a mistake. They threatened a child under my protection. That's unforgivable. Will you kill them? He studies my face, perhaps trying to gauge whether I can handle the truth. If necessary. Definitely. I'll make sure they never threaten anyone's child again. I should be horrified. Should tell him there has to be another way. But when I look at Emma, safe and happy and innocent, all I can think is, good. Make them pay, I whisper. Make them understand what happens when they threaten my daughter. Something dark and satisfied flashes in Volkov's eyes. He pulls me close, his lips brushing my temple. Consider it done. 3 days later, Tyler's friends are found in an abandoned warehouse on the south side. The news reports are vague about their condition, but the message is clear. They're alive, but they'll never threaten anyone again. The details aren't spelled out, and I don't ask. Some things are better left unknown. Emma and I settle into a routine at Volkov's house. She goes to school in an armored SUV with 2 guards who dress like normal parents and keep their weapons concealed. I go to work with my own shadow detail. At night, we eat dinner together, the 3 of us and sometimes Mrs. Rivera, like some strange approximation of a family. Alexei is different with Emma than I expected. Gentle, patient, genuinely interested in her stories about kindergarten and her friends and the butterflies she saw in the garden. He helps her with the puzzle she's working on, his large hands surprisingly deft with the tiny pieces. He reads her bedtime stories in his accented English, voices for all the characters, and she giggles at his rendition of the big bad wolf. Watching them together does something to my heart, cracks it open in ways I didn't know were possible. But underneath the domestic tableau, tension simmers. I'm living in his house depending on his protection, wearing clothes he bought, eating food he provides. Emma is thriving, safer, and happier than she's been in years. And I'm falling for a man whose hands are stained with blood, whose business empire is built on violence and fear, whose world will never be safe or normal or anything my daughter should grow up in. The breaking point comes on a Saturday morning, 2 weeks after we moved in. I'm in the kitchen making coffee when I overhear Alexei on the phone in his study. The door is slightly ajar, and his voice carries. The shipment from Odessa arrives Tuesday, he's saying in English, though the accent thickens when he's discussing business. Make sure customs doesn't inspect too closely. We can't afford delays. A pause, then. I don't care what it costs. Bribe whoever needs bribing. If that doesn't work, we use other methods. My hands freeze on the coffee pot. I know what I'm hearing. Evidence of smuggling, corruption, possibly worse. This is the reality of what Alexei does, what he is. Not just the protective man who reads bedtime stories, but the criminal who bribes officials and threatens violence to get what he wants. And the Italian problem, he continues? Handle it, permanently. I want Rossi to understand what happens when he encroaches on our territory. I set the coffee pot down and step away from the kitchen, my heart pounding. Permanently. The word echoes in my head. He's ordering someone's death as casually as ordering groceries. I make it to my bedroom before the panic attack hits. My chest tightens, my vision swims, and I can't catch my breath. This is who I've brought into Emma's life. This is the world I've let us become part of. What was I thinking? Alexei finds me 10 minutes later, still gasping for air, tears streaming down my face. He takes one look and closes the door behind him, kneeling in front of me. "Breathe with me," he says, his voice calm and steady. "In through your nose, out through your mouth. Match my breathing." He demonstrates, and gradually, my breathing synchronizes with his. The panic recedes enough for me to think clearly again. "You heard," he says. "It's not a question." "You ordered someone killed." My voice is raw. "You're smuggling something through customs, you're bribing officials, and you're doing it all like it's nothing." He doesn't deny it, doesn't try to sugarcoat. "Yes." "How can you—" I can't even finish the question. "How can you be the man who reads Emma bedtime stories and the man who orders executions?" "Because they're both me," he says simply. "I've never pretended to be anything else, Maya. I told you what I was. I've been honest about my world." "Honest?" I laugh, but it sounds bitter. "You've been managing me, winning over my daughter so I'd be too invested to leave, showing me just enough kindness to make me forget what you really are." Pain flashes across his face. "Is that what you think? That I've been manipulating you?" "Haven't you?" I meet his eyes. "The clothes, the protection, the gifts for Emma. It's all been designed to make us dependent on you, to trap us here." He stands abruptly, his jaw tight. "I could have trapped you a dozen different ways if that's what I wanted. I could have held Tyler's attack over your head, made you feel you owed me. I could have threatened to stop protecting Emma unless you stayed. I could have used my resources to make your life impossible if you tried to leave." "Then why didn't you?" "Because I wanted you to choose this." His voice rises for the first time since I've known him. "I wanted you to stay because you wanted to, not because you had no other option. Everything I've done, every gift, every gesture, it was me trying to show you that life with me could be good. That I could make you happy, keep you safe, give Emma everything she deserves." "By killing people? By breaking the law? By building our happiness on other people's suffering?" "Yes!" The word explodes from him. "Yes, Maya. That's exactly what I do. I'm not a good man. I've never claimed to be. But I'm good to the people I care about. I protect what's mine. And somewhere along the way, you and Emma became mine. We're not things to be owned. That's not what I—" He stops, visibly struggling for control. "I don't mean it like that. I mean you're my family now. The people I would die for. The people I would kill for. Don't you understand? In my world, that's love." The word hangs between us, raw and terrifying. "Love," I repeat. "You think this is love?" "I know it is." He moves closer, his eyes intense. "I love you, Maya. I love the way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. I love how you always give Emma the bigger portion, even when you're starving. I love your strength, your compassion, your stubborn refusal to accept help, even when you desperately need it." His hand cups my face. "I love you so completely it terrifies me." Tears spill down my cheeks. "I can't do this, Alexei. I can't raise my daughter in a world where people get killed for business disputes, where her safety depends on how many men with guns you have, where every dinner could be interrupted by news that you're dead or arrested or—" "Then what do you want?" His voice breaks slightly. "Tell me what you need, and I'll give it to you. You want me to go legitimate? I'll liquidate the illegal operations. You want to move somewhere safer? I'll buy a house anywhere in the world. You want me to step down from the family? I'll hand control to my brother and walk away from everything I've built." "You'd really do that?" I search his face. "Give up everything? For you? Yes." No hesitation. "For you and Emma, I'd give up everything. Because nothing else matters if you're not in my life." I want to believe him. God, how I want to believe him. But I think of Emma, sweet and innocent and trusting. I think of the life I've been trying to build for her, safe and normal and far from violence. "I need time," I finally say. I need to think about what's best for Emma. The hurt in his eyes nearly breaks me, but he nods. Of course. Take all the time you need. And I force the words out. I think Emma and I should stay somewhere else while I figure this out. Maybe go back to our apartment or… No. The word is absolute. Tyler is still recovering, but his friends are still out there. The men who threatened Emma are still connected to people who might want revenge. You're not safe outside my protection. So what, we're prisoners? You're protected, he corrects. There's a difference. Stay here. I'll move to one of my other properties if my presence makes you uncomfortable. But you and Emma stay where I know you're safe. Alexei. Please. The plea in his voice unmans him, strips away the dangerous criminal, and leaves just a man, desperate and afraid of losing something precious. Let me at least keep you safe, even if you decide you don't want anything else from me. How can I argue with that? How can I risk Emma's safety to make a point? Okay, I agree. We'll stay, but you need to give me space to think. He nods once, then turns and leaves without another word. The door closes behind him with a soft click that sounds like finality. For 3 days, I barely see Alexei. He's moved to his apartment downtown, leaving the Lincoln Park house to Emma and me. Mrs. Rivera stays, kind and unobtrusive as always. The guards remain, invisible but ever present. Life continues in its strange new normal, except for the gaping hole where Alexei used to be. Emma asks about him constantly. When is Mr. Alexei coming home? Is he okay? Did we make him sad? He's just busy with work, baby, I lie, hating myself for it. He'll visit soon. But I'm not sure he will. I'm not sure he should. I'm working a night shift at the hospital when everything falls apart. It's 2 in the morning, the ER quiet for once, when my phone rings. Mrs. Rivera's number. Maya. Her voice is tight with controlled panic. You need to come home now. Don't call anyone. Don't alert the hospital security. Just leave quietly and get in the car that's waiting for you. My blood runs cold. What happened? Where's Emma? Emma is safe. She's with me. But there are men here, Maya. They came through the garden. They have guns. They're asking for you. Call the police. Call Alexei. We can't. They cut the landlines and they're jamming cell signals somehow. The panic room is compromised. They knew the code. Her voice drops to a whisper. They have someone on the inside. They knew everything. My hands shake so badly I nearly drop the phone. I'm coming. Tell them I'm coming. Just keep Emma safe. Hurry. I walk out of the ER like I'm in a dream, past colleagues who call my name, past Dr. Patterson who asks if I'm okay. The black SUV is indeed waiting, but the driver isn't one of Alexei's regular men. This one is younger, harder, with eyes that don't meet mine in the rearview mirror. You're going to kill me, I say flatly as we pull away from the hospital. It's not a question. Not my call, he replies. Boss wants to talk to you first. Which boss? You'll see. The drive takes us to the warehouse district, to a building that looks abandoned from the outside but is clearly active inside. Lights glow behind covered windows. Men with guns patrol the perimeter. Inside, the warehouse has been converted into some kind of command center. Computers, communications equipment, weapons stacked against the walls, and in the center of it all, tied to chairs, are Mrs. Rivera and Emma. My daughter's face is streaked with tears, her small body trembling with fear. When she sees me, she screams, "Mama!" I run to her, but rough hands grab me, pull me back. A man steps out of the shadows, tall, distinguished, with silver hair and cold blue eyes. He looks like someone's grandfather, if that grandfather was a psychopath. Maya Chen, he says, his accent placing him somewhere in Eastern Europe. Thank you for joining us. I am Viktor Petrov. The name means nothing to me, but the way he says it suggests it should. What do you want? What I want is Alexei Volkov, Petrov says, circling me slowly. But he's proven difficult to draw out. He's been hiding in his downtown fortress, surrounded by guards, impossible to reach. He stops in front of me. So I thought, what does Alexei Volkov value more than his own life? And the answer came to me. You. I'm no one to him, I lie desperately. Just someone he helped. He won't come for me. Petrov laughs. Please. My sources tell me he's been obsessed with you for weeks. That he moved you into his home. That he nearly started a war with the Italians over territorial disputes because he's been distracted by you. He reaches out and touches my hair, and I flinch away. Oh, he'll come. And when he does, I'll kill him. And then I'll take everything he's built. Let my daughter go, I plead. She's 5 years old. She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this. She's what will keep you compliant while we wait for Alexei. He nods to one of his men. Call Volkov. Tell him if he wants his woman and her daughter to live, he comes alone. No guards, no weapons, no backup. 1 hour, or they die. The man makes the call, and I hear Alexei's voice on the other end, sharp with fury and fear. The conversation is brief, but the outcome is clear. He's coming. He'll know it's a trap, I say. He's not stupid enough to come alone. He's not stupid, Petrov agrees. But he's in love, and love makes even smart men do stupid things. 53 minutes later, the warehouse door opens. Alexei walks in alone, hands visible and empty. He's dressed simply. Jeans, a black t-shirt, a leather jacket. But there's something different about him, something coiled and dangerous, like a predator pretending to be prey. His eyes find mine immediately, and I see the fear there, quickly masked. Then his gaze shifts to Emma, and something in his expression softens before hardening into absolute fury. Petrov, he says, his voice deadly calm. Let them go. This is between you and me. That's where you're wrong. Petrov produces a gun from his waistband, casually pointing it at Emma. This is about me taking everything you love before I kill you. Time seems to slow. I see Alexei's eyes track the gun, see him calculate angles and distances. I see his hand move, just slightly, to his back. I thought you said no weapons, Petrov laughs. I lied, Alexei says, and pulls a gun from the small of his back so quickly it's just a blur of motion. The warehouse erupts into chaos. Gunfire echoes off concrete walls. I throw myself over Emma, shielding her with my body. Mrs. Rivera does the same, covering us both with her surprisingly strong arms. Through the deafening noise, I hear Alexei's voice, sharp with command. North entrance, now! The warehouse door I came through explodes inward. Men in tactical gear pour in, Alexei's men, his real guards, the ones he's been training for exactly this scenario. The element of surprise is total. Petrov's men barely have time to react before they're overwhelmed. Alexei moves through the chaos like he was born to it, each shot precise, each movement economical. He's not the controlled businessman I've seen, or the gentleman who reads bedtime stories. This is Alexei Volkov at his most dangerous, and he is absolutely terrifying, and absolutely magnificent. Petrov tries to run, but Alexei is faster. He tackles the older man, and they go down in a tangle of limbs. The gun skitters across the concrete floor. They fight hand to hand, brutal and efficient, neither giving quarter. Alexei gains the upper hand, pinning Petrov to the ground. His fist draws back, and I see murder in his eyes. Alexei, stop! My voice cuts through the chaos. He freezes, looking at me. Blood streams from a cut above his eye. His knuckles are torn, but his eyes are what stop me. They're asking for permission, asking if I can accept what he needs to do. I glance at Emma, still covered by Mrs. Rivera, sobbing, but alive. I think of all the ways this could have ended, all the ways I could have lost her tonight. Finish it, I say quietly. Alexei's fist comes down, once, twice. Petrov stops struggling. One of Alexei's men approaches. Boss, police will be here in 5 minutes. We need to go. Alexei stands, pulling me to my feet, scooping Emma into his arms in one fluid motion. Can you walk? I nod, and we run. Out through a back entrance into waiting vehicles. The SUV peels out just as sirens wail in the distance. Emma clings to Alexei's neck, still crying. He holds her close, one hand cradling her head, murmuring soothing words in Russian. I watch them and feel something shift inside me. Some final wall crumbling. This man just killed for us, would have died for us, did die a little bit in his eyes when he thought we were lost. I'm sorry, he says, looking at me over Emma's head. I'm so sorry. I should have seen the betrayal coming, should have protected you better. This is my fault. No, I say firmly. This is Petrov's fault, and it's over now. Maya, take us home, I interrupt. Take us home, Alexei. 6 months later, I stand on the balcony of our new home, a compound in the countryside an hour outside Chicago. It's beautiful here, peaceful, with gardens Emma has claimed as her fairy kingdom and security that's invisible but absolute. The word our still feels strange in my mouth, but increasingly right. Our home, our life, our family. Alexei comes up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist, his chin resting on my shoulder. What are you thinking about? How much has changed, I admit. 6 months ago, I was barely surviving. Now I'm happy, he supplies. I turn in his arms to face him. Terrified, mostly. But yes, happy too. He's made good on his promises. The truly illegal operations have been liquidated or sold off. The Volkov organization still exists, still operates in gray areas, but nothing that puts us directly in danger. His brother has taken over day-to-day operations, while Alexei focuses on legitimate investments and, most importantly, on us. Emma's asking about the wedding again, he says with a smile. She wants to know if she can have a princess dress. She can have whatever she wants. I touch the ring on my left hand. A family heirloom. Alexei's grandmother's engagement ring. Simple, elegant, perfect. Are you sure about this? About all of it? You've given up so much. I've gained everything that matters. He kisses my forehead. A family, a home. Someone who sees me, all of me, and chooses to stay anyway. It's true. I know what he is, what he's done, what he's still capable of. I've seen him kill. I've seen him order deaths. I've seen the darkness that lives inside him. But I've also seen him help Emma with her homework, his reading glasses perched on his nose. I've seen him hire 3 new staff members at the hospital when he found out they were understaffed. I've seen him set up a college fund for every child whose parent works in his legitimate businesses. He's not a good man, but he's good to us, and maybe that's enough. Mama, Mr. Alexei, Emma's voice carries from the garden. Come look, the butterflies are back. We find her in the garden, surrounded by flowers and sunlight, pointing excitedly at the monarchs that have returned for the season. She's grown in these months, taller, healthier, more confident. The nightmares from the warehouse incident have faded, helped by the child psychologist Alexei insisted on, and by the overwhelming sense of safety that permeates our new life. Can we catch one? She asks. Just to look at, not to keep. We can try, Alexei says, crouching beside her. But butterflies are meant to be free. Sometimes the most beautiful things are the ones we can't hold on to. Emma considers this seriously, but you're holding on to Mama, and she's beautiful. He glances at me, his eyes warm. Your mama chooses to stay. That's different. She's free to leave anytime she wants. Would you, though? Emma asks me with a child's directness. Would you leave? I look at my daughter, safe and happy. I look at Alexei, patient and loving and dangerous and mine. I look at the life we've built together from blood and fear and impossible choices. No, I say, meaning it completely. I wouldn't leave. This is where I belong. Emma grins and runs off to chase butterflies. Alexei stands, pulling me close. I love you, Maya Chen, soon to be Maya Volkov. I love you too, I say, and kiss him in the sunlight while our daughter laughs and butterflies dance around us. It's not a normal life. It's not a safe life, not completely. But it's ours, built on honesty and choice, and a love that somehow survived being tested by fire. 3 months ago, I got a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. He's alive, barely. Russia has good hospitals. This isn't over. Petrov, somehow, impossibly, still alive. I showed Alexei the text. He read it once, then pulled me close. It's handled. He won't come after us again. How can you be sure? Because I've made it very clear what happens to anyone who threatens my family. Word has spread. We're not targets anymore. We're untouchable. I chose to believe him, chose to trust in the infrastructure of violence and power he's built around us, chose to stop looking over my shoulder and start looking forward. That evening, we have dinner on the terrace. Me, Alexei, Emma, Mrs. Rivera, and Dmitri, who's visiting from New York. The conversation flows easily, laughter and warmth filling the spaces between us. This is my family now. Unconventional, complicated, built from impossible circumstances and dangerous choices, but mine. Later, when Emma is asleep and the house is quiet, Alexei finds me in our bedroom. No regrets? He asks, pulling me into bed beside him. I think of everything that brought us here. The emergency room encounter, the protection, the danger, the choice I made to stay even when every logical part of my brain screamed to run. Only one, I admit. Concern flashes across his face. What? That I didn't meet you sooner. I kiss him, deep and thorough. Think of all the time we wasted. He laughs against my lips. We have all the time in the world now. And we do. Whatever comes, whatever threats emerge from Alexei's past, we'll face them together. Because I'm not the same woman who walked into that emergency room 6 months ago. I'm stronger now, fiercer, more capable of surviving in his world. And he's not the same man who walked out. He's softer around the edges, more open, more willing to show vulnerability. We've changed each other, and in that change, found something neither of us knew we needed. Mama? Emma's voice calls from her room. I had a bad dream. We both go to her, me to hold her, Alexei to check the security monitors that now live in a disguised panel in her room. Together, we comfort her back to sleep, a team united in protecting this precious life we've created. This is our new world, our new normal, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.